I wanted to share my process for removing stubborn window paint. I have the citrus strip gel right now, but I do also love the spray. I have a sponge that I apply it with. You should definitely be wearing gloves and a mask. I did not have those on hand today, so I just washed my hands immediately after. Why is my window paint actually pretty stubborn to remove? Well, it just depends on what you use. I also like to use this spray foam glass cleaner to keep it nice and wet while I'm removing the window paint, because the base that I use is ceiling paint and it is flat. So it does get actually very crumbly if you don't keep it wet. So I initially applied some warm water to these windows, and then I put on the gel with the sponge. I let that sit as I coated everything. And then I grab my window blade. I use a Stanley window blade. You'll see that up here close in a minute. After it sits for a bit, I usually do use my other hand to sit on top of the blade, if that makes sense, to help catch the flakes. This one, though, it was on the ground, so it's kind of hard to do that and not fall over because I'm not very balanced. But I do use that, and I kind of take my blade, usually off in the edge. This is where I'm using the two-hand method, but that's easy to throw it right back into the paint bucket, just like so. And then I put it right into the paint bucket just to get rid of the paint, and then I do dispose of the paint properly when everything is completed. I did initially buy the gel because that's what I thought they had and only had. So I'm just trying to use that up as I have it, but you really only need the spray, or the gel is fine as well. The blades that I use are probably only $6. I do have an Amazon storefront. You can shop the link and go there and help support me make these videos. I do just for a little bit of passive income here and there. I'm not making a ton of money, and I'm not even monetizing off of YouTube yet. So these are just helpful. This is the blade up close. You can buy the blades separately. I buy my blades at Benjamin Moore. Not all blades are created equal. When you are scraping off the window paint, you usually want to use the edge of the blade just to kind of get a nice bite on it, and then slowly remove it as you get to the edges, because there is a seal on those edges. So if you run into that seal, you're going to break it and probably scrape it off, which businesses do not appreciate. It does take me multiple hours to paint these windows, and most windows. The removal process is probably only about 10 to 15 minutes, depending on the window size. I think the longest I've ever removed window paint is about an hour. I found the citrus strip method, and it's not required, of course, because I did use the wrong paint actually for a while. I use marquee ceiling paint normally for my base. I do prefer that over like the bottom line Behr paint and primer. I love Behr paints. That's usually mostly all I use. Interior, exterior, it doesn't matter. But I found this citrus strip worked when I used just the regular marquee interior house paint, and it wasn't ceiling paint, and it was so stubborn and so hard to remove. And that was the only thing that helped me. So now, knowing that I use the ceiling paint, and a lot of the times, most of my paint have multiple coats on it, it's just so much faster for me to use it now, and it does not ruin the window. As far as brands for the spray foam, I just do that because it does keep it more moist and sits on there. Compared to regular glass cleaner or Windex, it kind of drips down the window, so this kind of sits on the objects a little bit more and keeps it nice and moist. And I spray as I go, so I'm not spraying the whole thing all at once. I kind of just spray each window as I go. The other glass cleaner I use, which is basically Windex, or there's Zep or whatever. I like the smell of Zep, actually, if you're going to be inhaling it, which is probably not ideal. I do prefer Zep, but I just buy and bring what I have. So I like to use the other regular glass cleaner because I do feel like it leaves it a little streaky. I always tell the businesses, and they appreciate this, but I do clean the windows like good enough to where you're not seeing everything that I just wiped off. I'm not just going to scrape it off and leave it. I want to wipe it down, make sure it's not streaky, see-through, and clean, but I'm also not a window cleaner, so I'm not going to do an exceptional job. I do have a window squeegee. I don't prefer to use that because, when you window squeegee and you shake it out, and sometimes it still looks streaky to me. So I don't like that method. I like the hand washing method. It's not perfect, but it gets the job done in a pinch. My favorite thing to do after I clean the windows, though, is wipe the bottom sill. And I don't know why that's so satisfying, but it's just an added bonus because these are always sitting outside. They always get dirty, especially the ones low to the ground, and the businesses appreciate it. And I just like to see everything wiped off. Again, this is just for the methods that I use to paint it, and I know this works to remove it. So that's my trick for removing stubborn window paint. If you want to follow along, like and subscribe, shop my Amazon storefront, I'd appreciate it. Thank you.